was no crime. He was wearing a T-shirt, and all he did as a probably, middle school, 13 or 14-year-old, refused to turn it inside out. By the way, in order for him to turn the T-shirt inside out, he would have to take the T-shirt off. Thereby, I am also assuming that he's probably not wearing a shirt underneath the T-shirt, because, most people do not wear anything under a sleeveless T-shirt. So he would have been breaking the school rules by not having a shirt on. So the teacher was telling this kid in a food area to be, because, no shirt, no shoes, no service. So the teacher was, or an office official, school secretary, was ordering this kid to probably break the cafeteria rules by taking off his shirt. Now, isn't that funny that you can break the law or break the rules in order to enforce a rule that doesn't exist or should not exist? Yeah, another flabbergasting moment in my... Now, look, I am sure that most of you under the sound of my voice would be livid at this, and evidently this mother was. Why it took her 2 years to bring, over a year and a half now to bring this to trial or to sue, to try to make some changes is beyond me. Now you're probably saying, well, yeah, Rod, look, she's seeking almost $500,000. It's about the money. Well, in this particular case, there's money involved, and there has to be, in order to make the school stand up and pay attention and take it seriously. Because now they have to address it. Because if there's no monetary damages attached, the school could just flitter and blah. No, that's no big deal. But if they say no big deal to this, the school district is going to lose $500,000 or more. So they can't be flippant about this. So they're going to have to seriously address it. And this whole notion that kids have no rights is a ludicrous one. Especially when it's so vague and when it's discriminatory. It's almost like in some inner city schools in some places where they say they can't wear certain colors because they're gang colors. Well, I don't know. We can't wear blue and red because the Crips and the Bloods colors are include blue and red. Just because a kid wears a blue T-shirt or red T-shirt doesn't mean he's a gang member or he's promoting the gangs. But some places they're not allowed to wear certain colors or certain color combinations. And this kid is, he's we're talking West Virginia here. It's kind of like Montana when it comes to firearms. We're not talking New York. We're not talking Massachusetts or California. We're talking West Virginia. Now, you kind of expect this kind of thing to happen in places like California and Massachusetts and New York, where they're very anti-gun to begin with. But in West Virginia? And I'm still trying to figure out how it's disruptive to the educational process when the kid's in a lunch line. And then he gets hauled off to the principal's office. So nobody else can, he's already been embarrassed in the lunch line. Now, my other question is, well, if he was at lunch, he was probably hungry. Did they allow him to eat? I know those are questions that you're not supposed to ask. Those are questions I do ask. Those are questions that demand answers. So the kid let's simplify this. The kid goes through half his day Half his day. No problems. Evidently, no problem in any class. Evidently, no problem in the hallway. Passing between classes if they exchange classes, and I'm sure in middle school all over the country, middle school and high school, that's what they do. It's not like elementary. Even nowadays, elementary school often changes classes for certain subjects. But so he's going to class to class. First, probably 3 class changes at least. So he's probably by the time lunch comes along, he probably has been to 3 classes, 3 of his 5 or 6 classes for the day. So he's been to 3 classes. Well, no, let's start. This is now. It doesn't say what time of year this is, but I'm assuming it's going to be during the warmer months. So he arrives at school in this shirt. No problem. He goes to his homeroom, which, again, most schools have to start the day. They take attendance so they can get their federal dollars and all that kind of stuff. No problem in homeroom. So then he's off to his first class. No problem in that class. Then he's out in the hallway again, exchanging, going to a second class. No problem with that. No issue. Goes into his second class. No problem. Evidently, he goes back out of the hallway, changing classes, locker, all that kind of stuff, getting his other books for his other class. No problem, evidently. Goes to his third class, again, even if it's just a study hall, no issues, no problems. And then he's back out, going into the hallways again. Again, no problem. Gets in a lunch line, no problem, until the school secretary places her hand upon his chest and says, "Turn that shirt inside out." And he probably says, I'm going to assume, being a teenage boy in today's era, he probably looked at her and rather curtly and not respectfully said, "No." And then tried to move forward in the line so he could get lunch, and she prevented him from doing it, at which point a male teacher then comes over to him, grabs him by his arm, and drags him off to the principal's office, where I'm sure there's argument going on, and a cop is called, and the cop is saying, "Arr, arr, 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 you turn that shirt," and the kid is probably, he's probably spouting off his rights. He probably knows them. And so the cop doesn't want to hear it, so he orders him to shut up, and the kid keeps spouting off his rights, and the cop says, "Okay, now I'm going to arrest you for obstruction of justice because you failed to shut up when I told you to shut up." And then he gets arrested and then suspended over a T-shirt. He wasn't promoting violence. He wasn't promoting ganghood. He wasn't promoting not even a violent religion. Now, I'm sure if this kid was wearing an Islamic shirt, he'd be fine. A T-shirt that promoted Islam, he would have been fine. He probably could have been wearing a shirt that showed the head of a Christian in the hands of ISIS. He would have been fine. But he's got an NRA shirt on, or a T-shirt with an NRA logo. Oh, and that's unacceptable. What? Where has sensibility gone in this country when we are arresting our teenage children who are standing up for their own rights, individual rights? And then we just make up charges so that we can arrest them and suspend them. And this mother rightfully stood up and said, "Oh, hell no." Oh, by the way, the kid wasn't black. He's white with an original Justin Bieber haircut. Remember how Justin, when he first came out, he had that haircut? That's what his haircut looks like. I don't know what they call that style. I just call it a Bieber haircut. Young Bieber, original Bieber, I don't know. Yeah. Welcome to America with a K, folks. This is why I'm going out on speaking tour, because this kind of stuff has got to be noted and stopped. It's got to be, to use a colloquial term, it's got to be arrested. More Clinton email bombshells in campaign season. Federal judge gives State Department until September to hand over documents to a conservative group. This is in the Daily Mail. I kind of looked around to see if I could find a matching article on this from a U.S.-based lamestream media site. I don't see it. So a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit demands emails from Hillary Clinton, her top State Department aides, and the CEO of an outside firm with long-standing Clinton world ties. Now, squabbling could stretch into next January, putting the time frame for new Hillary bombshells in the middle of the tense presidential primary season. Now, Citizens United, the conservative group that fought campaign finance laws and won in the Supreme Court, is pushing for the documents. Now, these people are no slouches. They're no joke. They want Hillary's documents. The U.S. State Department has until September 21st to hand over a giant cache of emails to a conservative activist group that sought them from via Freedom of Information Act request and went to court to force the government's hand. Now, if the parties in a federal lawsuit squabble over what is and isn't subject to public disclosure, the courtroom battles could stretch into next January, putting the time frame for a new Hillary Clinton bombshell right in the middle of the tense presidential primary season. Citizens United, the organization whose legal maneuvering famously rewrote parts of America's campaign finance law, demanded copies of emails sent among a large group of officials at state and their outside associates. They say we expect to learn more of how Clinton Inc., as they call it, operated inside and outside the State Department. And this is by the group's president, David Bossie. So Hillary has got some other issues coming up on her. The email, I told you this email thing was not going to go away. And it looks like there's some conservative groups like Citizen United who's now got they're like pit bulls. They've got their teeth into this and they're not letting go anytime soon. At least not willingly. This could be very damning and damaging for Hillary. I think it's about time that this woman came clean. No, I'm just saying, tell the truth now before you get forced to in a very bad light. Well, folks, that sound means that I'm out of time for tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.